Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of whatever the fuck I gotta say. So, today we are talking about March 4th, which is today. Today is March the 4th. This is for anybody who might be confused, might not be up on the situation that's happening. If you see an increased police presence in your local area, this is finna be why. Um, for years and years and years, we've had militia. They have been operating in the woods, not really in your face. You might see a news article or documentary on Vice, and you would see these Caucasians, and they'll be just training for some type of civil war or whatever, if you will. They've been doing this for years. So, with that being said, there is what you call a conspiracy or whatever you want to call it, basically stating that we are under some type of corporation. And if you do know, you know your social security number and your name when it's first printed on your birth certificate and on your social security card is all in all capital letters because we live in a capitalistic society, which makes us actually corporations. This is why some people consider us slaves. Because we're born with numbers and all of this shit. We belong to this state. When you sign a certain document, you actually sign your actual children over to the state. That's why they're able to take your kids from you. So you got to look into all that. And then if you go back a little further, at one point we was able to buy shit without social security number. Remember that everybody started doing that shit. Then they shut it down because of the Federal Reserve and all that type of shit. This kind of goes back to that. Playing off of that in your mind because we kind of forgot. So with that being said, basically a while back, with Ulysses Grant or whatever being one of the last presidents before we turned over to being a corporation, there's videos circulating about how we belong to the British and about how when you see the American flag, you see a gold ball on the top of it, which basically signifies that we are still under British government. We are still under British rule. When it goes back to slavery, you got the Lloyd's of London, which was a bank that backed slavery financially, and these were actually British corporations, So we basically been under some type of corporate rule, and what March 4th does is basically they're saying that we're going back to being a republic, back to the people. Because if you really notice, a lot of times, when we get presidents and leaders or whatever, they love to, pacify the interests of the rich. It's always the rich getting rich and the poor getting poor. They remove the middle class. They want the middle class to become the lower class. And then it's classism. They use classism right now. And so with all of that information, basically, this is why we, like I said, pacify the rich because of how America's foundation has been set up. And so apparently, this is supposed to go back to the people again. Because some way, somehow, the Federal Reserve or the government has swindled our freedoms through their system in order for us to be in the conditions we are in today. And they're trying to say that Donald Trump is going to be the president again and all of this and that. I think they just want Donald Trump to be the president again. But so now these militias and these people have basically been training for a day and a time like this. And mind you, we just witnessed the Capitol being raided. You know what I'm saying? This is basically letting us know how easy the Capitol can get taken over. So now these folks is, me personally, I don't think anything's gonna happen. But let me tell you about white people. White people got this thing where they double down. They double down, meaning that even if they were wrong, they finna double down on being wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because in the video, I seen the girl say, "Oh, Donald Trump signed the Insurrection Act," and so I looked at the Insurrection Act because she said that the Insurrection Act was supposed to give power back to the people, but really that Insurrection Act is basically saying like we can deploy the military on you niggas if you decide y'all want to take some shit over. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of confusion going on, but it's already too late. That's why I said they double down. If you was to say, hey, look, the Insurrection Act really means this, they wouldn't give a fuck because they already done sight their minds out and they become delusional when it comes to certain shit. Now, another white person I talk to, white people talk to me all the time, I talk to them all the time. That's just how shit go. I don't give a fuck. I talk about politics at work because I actually know how to talk to people. You know what I'm saying? But he was pointing out about how every 300 years there's a power shift. Like, things happen after 300 years. Like, there's a new government, there's a new something, there's new world order, all that shit. And basically, he was saying before revolution, things like what happened at the Capitol happens. So it's falling back into history, and what we're witnessing today is going to be some of the most greatest times of our lives, from the most important times in our lives. Our eyes are going to be witnessing a lot of shit. Right now, y'all witnessing Christ, not knowing that it's other Christ consciousness. We're not even realizing that, oh, it's just only one. There's multiple people out here with Christ consciousness. You know what I'm saying? God has just manifested himself. So I take it personal. And that's just one thing. Because a lot of people ain't even going to realize what's really going on. So that's just one aspect. What a time to be alive. Because we finna see some shit. You know, I'm only 30 years old. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, we just got to sit back and watch everything that's happening. Sit back and enjoy the show or be a part of it. You know what I mean? Make sure that you're on the right side of history. Because honestly and truly, to get my personal thoughts to this shit, something need to happen to these motherfuckers, man. If I could just be honest, I told you I'm red pill, meaning that I'm going to be real about this shit. Something need to happen. You know how much the system has been oppressing all the people? Fuck just white, black, or whatever. Fuck, it's everybody. Everybody has been oppressed by this tyrannical ass system. And that's why you don't know what's really gonna happen, because the military, let me tell you something about the military. They take an oath to fight terrorism, foreign and domestic. Meaning that if the military considers their own government to be terrorists, they can come against them because they took an oath against that type of shit, because that's oppressing the people. You know what I'm saying? So it is American as it gets to stand up against tyranny. That is American as it gets. Mind you, I ain't on no bullshit trying to just start some shit just to start some shit. I'm about what's right versus what's wrong. And America been doing some fucked up shit. I ain't gonna say America, the American government has been doing some fucked up shit. And so for that, they will have to face consequences. Now, I'm not calling for nothing. I'm calling for karma at the end of the day. I'm calling for karma. Don't think that you finna just get away with this shit and it's gonna keep going, because the people are getting fed the fuck up. And if I could just go into the Bible, let's go into the Bible. What is it? Ephesians 6:12 talks about how we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers and rulers in dark places with spiritual wickedness in heavenly places and all that. That's what's happening, and people are getting fed up. Now let's cross-reference with Behold a Pale Horse. We have descriptive introduction of the silent weapon. We have silent weapons. It says, the public might instinctively feel that something is wrong, but because of the technical nature of the silent weapon, they cannot express their feeling in a rational way or handle the problem with intelligence. Therefore, they do not know how to cry for help and do not know how to associate with others to defend themselves against it. When a silent weapon is applied gradually, the public adjusts, adapts to its presence, and learns to tolerate its encroachment on their lives. until the pressure becomes too great and they crack. And this is what's happening. You got this coronavirus. You got these people with these masks. They're getting tired of wearing these masks. You have all these natural disasters that's happening upon the people. And a lot of this shit is government oriented. And they are controlling the weather. Don't get it fucked up. They've been controlling the weather for a long time. They've been trying to use that shit to experiment way back in the 1960s and shit. So it's 2021. These fuckers know how to control the weather. There is a YouTube video right now that shows you how they create snow out of fucking chemtrails. These are what chemtrails are. People thought that chemtrails were just some toxins that you put in the air and it slowly kills us. No, what chemtrails really are metal particles and materials that they fly at a certain altitude, because in that altitude you have things becoming crystallized in nature. It freezes. So when you have this metal mixing with these with the air and the crystallizations, they create weather. This is what I believe happened in Texas. I believe they did some shit like that in Texas. And you can look this up. You don't have to just take my word for it. Please look this shit up. There is a YouTube video showing the actual plane. It shows you the materials and the shit that they attach to the back of it. And you will see them in your friendly skies if you go out. I noticed it myself because they do rain. Rain is it's been raining like a bitch. You wonder why it's raining so much, and then it gets sunny as fuck and hot as fuck. But then the next day, it gets fucking rainy and cold. That shit is kind of making you think, like it's kind of fishy. Because the chemtrails, basically, there could be clear fucking skies. The sky can be clear as it wanna be. And then you will see a fucking airplane and they do this little shit. They fly through, you see the streaks through the air, and they be multiple planes, they crossing each other, all that type of shit. Give it about a few hours, you gonna see fucking clouds take over the whole sky. I mean, literally, clouds that take over the whole sky, and then you thinking that they just appeared out of nowhere. No, they are doing this. There is a Illuminati card that shows you this shit. You know, and they playing games with us. And like I said before, quarantine was a game. The fucking, and the clouds and all that shit was a game. I'll show you this on my Instagram. It says the International Weather Organization. And let me turn on the brightness. Where you see the fucking plane and everything. And let's show you quarantine. I posted these on my Instagram page. Follow me on Instagram at Saint_Latroy, Latroy. These are things that have already been pre-planned, and they're trying to just fuck with us as a people. And basically, the people are going through this state to where they're cracking. These people are getting tired of this shit. There's some people that know about this shit. They can't say nothing about this shit because they might have took a blood oath. They might have did some other shit that they can't talk about. They want to take this shit to the grave. They want to keep it a secret. But now it's getting to the point where it's affecting all of us, and a lot of people ain't playing about this shit. So when it comes to March 4th or today, we just gonna keep our eyes open and see what happens. If something happens, something happens. If it don't, then it don't. I'm just here to see this shit. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna keep dropping knowledge on you guys. Stay tuned for more, you know what I'm saying? Because this is what I do. I just wanna wake my people up as much as possible, man. Peace.